The gavel hadn't fallen when my brother pointed at me in front of 12 strangers. She never served a day in the military. If she says she did, she's lying to this jury just like she lied to our father. I sat in a grey suit, no pins, no ribbons, nothing to say who I actually was. I didn't flinch, just watched Daniel's face, flushed with the confidence of a man never once told no. He thought my silence was surrender. He was about to learn otherwise. My name is Jessica Reynolds, 42. Until 6 months ago my brother and I hadn't spent an hour together since our mother's funeral. Daniel told the jury I'd spent 20 years inventing a career to manipulate a dying man, that the family never saw a photo of me in uniform, and my name turned up in a sealed appendix authorizing an $800,000 transfer 3 days before our father died. He believed correctly that almost none of my service record existed anywhere he could find it. He didn't understand why. It started when a call during a briefing at Fort Belvoir told me my father was gone. Daniel met me at the house and checked his watch, just in time for the reading. We were named co-beneficiaries, Daniel as temporary executor. Buried in the trust was a clause. I'd receive the house if I could provide evidence of service duty known to Robert Reynolds. Daniel laughed. She's a paper pusher. I said nothing. Our father had written it vague enough to protect what wasn't mine to reveal, while leaving a door open for the day someone used my silence against me. Within weeks, Daniel sued, accusing me of fabricating my record, embezzling trust funds, forging a signature. I called my attorney, Elena Price, a former JAG lawyer. He wants to erase who I am. Let him talk, she said. Let him say it under oath before we show the truth. Correct him too early and he'll adjust the lie. He was captain of the football team, easy and confident. I was the quiet one running with my father before sunrise, fixing the old Jeep instead of parties. After our mother died when I was 17, something between us shifted into an understanding that didn't need words. When I told the family I'd enrolled in ROTC, Daniel said, "You won't last 3 months." I finished, became an officer, and built a career far from that house. Officially, I handled logistics analysis. True, the way a locked door is a wall. Daniel decided this meant an unremarkable desk job. Our father never made that mistake. One night he saw a scar on my shoulder and only said, "I just need to know you brought your people home." Not all of them. That was the first time he'd hugged me as an adult. Daniel mortgaged properties and co-signed loans using our father's name. When our father pulled him from control of the estate, Daniel blamed me, though I hadn't been in the country. He started talking, embellishing each time because no one contradicted him. My silence became his weapon. Elena learned Daniel had hired a private investigator months earlier and found nothing. "He decided I don't exist," I said. She smiled. His most expensive mistake yet. The $800,000 had gone to the Sentinel Recovery Foundation, which Daniel called my secret shell company. In truth, it supported families of fallen service members, funded by our father without my knowledge. The transfer bore my electronic signature, but a forensic analyst traced it to a login issued to Daniel years earlier. He'd moved money in, then filed a falsified refund request, splitting it across 3 LLCs he owned. Every transaction left a trail he hadn't anticipated. A letter from our father, dated 2 months before his death, read, "If Daniel sues his sister, open the blue appendix." No such appendix existed in Daniel's version of the will. The safe deposit box had already been opened under a power of attorney Daniel held. It was gone. Daniel then gave a sworn deposition denying he'd accessed our father's accounts, known about Sentinel, or seen a blue appendix. Every word was false and now permanent record. I found Martha Cole, our father's nurse. Daniel had pressured him with folders to sign until she had to intervene. She'd recorded him threatening, "If you leave the house to Jessica, I'll prove she's a fraud." Our father's answer, "She stays quiet because she swore an oath to. You talk too much because you've never had anything worth protecting." He'd also asked the Pentagon for confirmation of my record, anticipating this. At a family dinner, Daniel announced he'd win the house outright. "Dad's dead. He can't save you now. I only thought he didn't need to. He'd given me all I needed." Daniel's hired records expert testified he'd found no public evidence of my service. Elena's cross-examination was brief: access to classified files, special operations records, an active clearance. No. Your conclusion rests on your inability to find something you were never authorized to look for. Daniel took the stand, painting himself as devoted while I was absent, when his presence had bought him control of our father's finances. Elena caught him in lie after lie. Still, in closing, he repeated his line. She never served. Repetition, not proof. After court, he cornered me. Take the deal, give up the house, admit you were never an officer. I said, tomorrow you'll want to remember exactly what you just asked me. That night, Elena called. The Pentagon's documentation had arrived, with a witness set to testify in the morning. Elena submitted the envelope. Judge Hayes read it, removed his glasses, and called the room to rise. Major General Evelyn Brooks entered, confirming I'd served over 20 years, held the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, commanded a special operations unit, and had been awarded the Silver Star. My classified status was never for financial gain, and Sentinel was legitimate. I held no ownership in it. Elena laid out the evidence, uncontested. The login, the transfer, the falsified refund, the LLCs, the altered appendix. Then our father's letter, retained by the Pentagon. Jessica has taken nothing from me. The transfer to Sentinel was a gift I gave willingly, in memory of those who did not come home with my daughter. If Daniel ever tries to humiliate Jessica with her service, all trust authority held by Daniel is terminated immediately. Daniel's face drained. The judge asked if he still wished to claim under oath that I'd never served. I may have misunderstood some things, he said. I looked at him. No, you knew you had no proof. You just believed I couldn't defend myself. The judge referred the record to federal prosecutors, perjury, fraud, forgery, elder exploitation. The jury rejected every claim against me, confirmed the estate was mine, and ordered Daniel to cover legal costs. Months later he took a plea deal. Restitution, federal supervision, a public admission that he'd lied under oath. He called me once. You destroyed my life. I didn't log into Dad's accounts, I said. I didn't forge anything. I stopped protecting you from what you did. He asked why I hadn't told the truth from day one. Because you'd have changed your story. I needed you to say every lie out loud while you believed I couldn't answer. He hung up. We never spoke again. I moved back into our father's house and turned his old study into an office for a support program for veterans facing the fight I'd survived. Part of the restored trust went to Sentinel, as he'd always intended. In the garage, on the seat of the old Jeep we used to fix together, I found an envelope in his handwriting. You don't have to prove who you are to the people who love you, but never let a liar define you to the rest of the world. I stood there a long while, feeling something settle that wasn't triumph, relief that my father's name, and the names of those who never came home, weren't props in someone else's lie anymore. Daniel believed my silence was proof of weakness. It wasn't. It was simply the time I gave him to talk his way into a verdict he couldn't walk back.